At first glance, Kiri appears to be a mystery child with an unusual connection to nature. But the deeper I've looked into this character, the harder it becomes to see her as just another Na'vi. There's something fundamentally different about her. Not in a chosen one way or in a prophecy sense, but in a way that feels deliberate and spiritual. Today, I want to explore a theory. What if Kiri isn't merely connected to Eywa? What if Kiri is Eywa in Na'vi form? I know this sounds strange, but hear me out. When we're introduced to Kiri, she seems to be an outsider. She doesn't quite fit in with the other kids. She's emotionally open in a way that makes others uncomfortable. She listens more than she speaks, and when she does speak, it often feels like she's articulating something ancient, something far older than herself.
I hear her breathing. I hear her heartbeat. She's so close. She's just there. Like a word about to be spoken.
Even within her own family, Kiri is different. She isn't Jake's biological child. She isn't Neytiri's by blood. She doesn't have a father at all. Instead, Kiri was born from the avatar of Dr. Grace, a body that was dead, but mysteriously capable of pregnancy.
Kiri, born of Grace's avatar, a daughter whose conception was a total mystery.
From the very beginning, Kiri exists in a liminal space between human and Na'vi, between science and spirituality, between life and something else entirely. We're initially encouraged to see Kiri as blessed, a child uniquely connected to Eywa, but Avatar Fire and Ash pushes that idea further, because Kiri isn't just resonating with Eywa anymore. She's beginning to embody her. But to understand why Kiri being Eywa makes sense, we need to understand what Eywa actually is. Eywa isn't a god in the traditional Western sense, a distant creator watching from above, nor is she a mythological figure like Zeus. Eywa is something entirely different. Eywa is the living consciousness of Pandora itself. She's the planet's awareness, its ability to feel, remember, and respond. Eywa exists within every living thing on the planet. The trees, the animals, the Na'vi. Eywa is a planetary soul, an intricate web of life that binds every living thing together.
Jake, Eywa has heard you. Eywa has heard you!
Now, if you've seen Avatar Fire and Ash, you're probably wondering, if Eywa is Pandora's planetary consciousness, why does Eywa have a face? The face is a form of manifestation, not the essence. The face is likely a way for Eywa to communicate on a personal relational level. A neural network is inherently impersonal, consisting only of energy, signals, and connections. It can't easily connect with a living soul. By manifesting a face, Eywa creates an emotional bridge that allows others to truly perceive and understand her presence. So the idea that Eywa can manifest herself into a single form isn't that crazy to believe. It's pretty logical actually. If Eywa wanted to understand and experience a life without unlimited power, to walk among her people instead of above them, then incarnation would make that possible. Many belief systems share a recurring idea, that divinity sometimes enters its own creation, not to rule it, but to understand it. In Christianity, this takes the form of God becoming human in Jesus, fully divine, fully mortal, not to dominate, but to experience. In Hinduism, Vishnu incarnates as avatars, not illusions, but genuine embodiments shaped by the needs of the world. In Buddhism, enlightened beings delay transcendence to remain among the suffering. These stories aren't about power, they're about empathy through limitation. And that's exactly what Kiri represents. Limiting herself to Na'vi flesh allows Eywa to experience the world from a mortal perspective. Immortality or omnipresence provides knowledge but not lived experience. By becoming Kiri, she understands what it means to struggle, to be an outsider, to form relationships. She experiences fear, doubt, and growth, emotions that a disembodied consciousness can observe but never truly feel. These experiences may guide how she intervenes intervenes in Pandora's affairs, making her actions more empathetic and nuanced. But if Eywa acted directly at all times, she might override the choices of others, turning Pandora into a perfectly controlled ecosystem, but one without liberty. By incarnating as Kiri, Eywa experiences life within constraints, allowing others to make choices, struggle, and grow. She can guide and intervene, but not force obedience, preserving the balance between destiny and free will. Kiri's birth is the first and strongest piece of evidence for this theory. Grace's avatar is dead, and yet it becomes pregnant. There's no father, no mating, no biological explanation for Kiri's birth. Eywa plants Kiri directly. This mirrors the idea of divine incarnation, where a god doesn't reproduce through traditional means, but instead enters the world intentionally, much like God manifesting through Jesus not as a separate being, but as God made flesh. Kiri isn't a child of Eywa, but Eywa choosing to be born. But why choose Grace's avatar to birth Kiri? Grace is someone who deeply understands Pandora. She dedicated her life to understanding the interconnectedness of Pandora's life forms. Grace is the philosophical bridge between humanity and Eywa. Grace believed in Pandora as a living entity long before anyone else took it seriously. She listened when others didn't. She wanted to learn when others wanted to control. And when Grace died, she didn't pass away, she passed into Eywa.
I'm with her, Drake. She's real.
Consider Mary in Christian tradition. Mary is chosen to bear Jesus not because of power or status, but because of purity, humility, and willingness to accept a divine role. Grace's avatar is chosen because she embodies the qualities necessary for Eywa's consciousness to safely enter a mortal vessel. Grace's consciousness, her openness, her moral compass, and her unwavering empathy make her an ideal choice. While Na'vi are connected to Eywa, most don't have the human intellect, empathy, or understanding necessary to fully channel Eywa's consciousness into a single child without overwhelming or harming them. Grace's avatar has both the neural interface and emotional maturity required, making her a safe vessel for Eywa's essence. Another strong piece of evidence are Kiri's seizures when she connects to Eywa. Why does she have them? Why is she the only one who has them? It's never actually explained, at least scientifically.
There's no bleed, there's no fracture, no effects of hypoxia. Brain looks good.
But we still have this interictal activity right here in the prefrontal, okay?
She's definitely had a seizure. I think we can move on talks. So what is it?
But from my understanding, Kiri's seizures are signs of an overload. Kiri's consciousness operates on two planes: individual experience and planetary awareness. Her body can't reconcile both simultaneously. This is why medical technology can't diagnose her, because nothing is wrong. She's just overwhelmed. Kiri is in essence Eywa incarnate, but she exists in a mortal body. When she attempts to connect fully with Eywa, her body is asked to handle the same cosmic planetary consciousness that sustains Pandora itself. Kiri's seizures are her body's natural reaction to the immensity of Eywa's consciousness. Her seizures also symbolize her internal struggle. Part of her is Na'vi and part of her is Eywa. The two natures aren't yet fully united. Kiri's seizures is her body rebelling against the divine consciousness it carries. It's the classic incarnation strain, when the mortal vessel is being pushed to channel a godlike power. Their neurons, muscles, and energy systems are overwhelmed, hence the seizures. But the most notable clue is Kiri's unique connection to Pandora itself. She can manipulate plants directly. In Avatar Fire and Ash, she alters Spider's biology, allowing him to breathe Pandora's air. She's powerful enough to subdue Varong, which we know Varong is strong herself, seeing her dominate other Na'vi, and yet Kiri, a teenager, is able to overpower her. Even with all this evidence that points to Kiri being a manifestation of Eywa, one question still remains. If Eywa is Kiri and Kiri is Eywa, why doesn't Kiri notice? Well, Kiri's lack of awareness makes sense. Just like any human or Na'vi child, her brain and cognitive development are limited. Even though she has a divine essence, her mind isn't fully equipped to understand understand omniscience or planetary consciousness. Narratively, this allows the story to show us Kiri discovering her powers rather than immediately being an all-knowing god. This makes her journey relatable because we get to discover her divinity alongside her. Kiri's journey is about realizing her own identity. This mirrors the spiritual journey of self-discovery. If she knew she was Eywa from the start, there would be no tension, no suspense, and no emotional payoff when she eventually comes to find out who she truly is. Some will argue Kiri is simply more connected to Eywa than other Na'vi, or that she's simply Eywa's blessed child. But I believe Kiri is more than she knows. Her instinctive connection to Pandora, her ability to command nature and feel the life around her, points to one conclusion for me. Kiri isn't merely connected to Eywa, Kiri is Eywa, and Eywa is Kiri. But what do you think? Do you see Kiri as the living embodiment of Eywa, or do you believe she's something else entirely? If you enjoyed this video, consider leaving a like and subscribing if you haven't already, and with all that being said, I hope to see you next time.